Hey YouTube, Dan Otto here, coming at you with 4 Great League teams that were used by myself and other content creators in the first half of the season that I think will work well now that we have Great League back for 3 weeks. Time to grind some ELO because, like I've said, the end of the season is not great for Great League. It's a lot of Ultra League and Master League Open. So if you need to grind some ELO, now's a good time for Great League. Top 20 rankings. If you go back to my video, I'll link in the description of when I was doing the first analysis of these top 20 rankings. Not much has changed. Just the order, like I think a couple of the flyers went down slightly, but there's still a lot in the top 15. But if you've played the Great League for the first couple weeks of the season, it's very much flyers, Noctowl, Pelipper, Pidgeot to a certain extent. Altaria, even though it's not a wing attack flyer, it's still out there a lot. It's on one of my teams. I think it's a better Pokemon than Noctowl in my opinion. And so all those, to get those, you have the steals, which is why Registeel, Galarian, Stunfisk are in the top 2. And if you're going to have those 2 in the top 2, you now have Medicham and Swampert 3 and 4 as answers to that. So it's basically just a cycle right now. It's you have your flyers that are getting walled by your steals, that are getting walled by your fighters, which are getting walled by your flyers, right? So it's just those 3. So what do you do when that is the meta right now? So the first team I put together that I used that has some pretty good success was with Altaria. So check out my old video on this if you go through my videos, my Great League playlist. So Altaria, Trevenant, Galarian, Stunfisk. And Altaria, I mentioned in the video, everyone's going Noctowl because it's a nice spicy pick. It doesn't take super effective from Charm, stuff like that. But Altaria has always been, since like Season 1, one of the best Pokemon in Great League. And it still is. You beat Noctowl. You do well against almost anything that isn't a Steel and a Fairy. And Ice, I guess you're weak to Ice too. But just the Dragon Breath does so much damage. You're so bulky. Sky Attack is a good move. Moonblast for coverage on the darks. Just a super strong Pokemon. You'll do well against the fighters. You do not so good against the steals, but you do well against like Swampert. You're like one of the best answers to Swampert. So really, really strong Pokemon. Trevenant was top like 5-10 Pokemon everywhere because you were a great answer to the steals, right? Great answer to Registeel. Good answer to Galarian Stunfisk. Amazing answer to Swampert. So it was everywhere. And then Noctowl came, and you just have absolutely no move to throw at Noctowl. So that's why I have 2 Pokemon on this team, Galarian Stunfisk and Altaria, that can deal with Noctowl. Trevenant, great answer to, like I said, Steel, Swampert, fighters, a lot of things that Galarian Stunfisk is weak to, right? So you have a lead, you have 2 Pokemon that cover each other's weaknesses in the back. I would probably go into Galarian Stunfisk safe swap, because if you go Trevenant and are met with a Noctowl, you are in big trouble. But this is a bulky team, it's a balanced team. Top 10 Pokemon, 15 Pokemon now probably. So really, really, really good. Second team, Malamar just is kind of whatever. I just wanted to have fun early on the season. But I think the Swampert Ninetales core is very strong. So Powder Snow, because everyone was like, okay, no more A9 because of Charm. Well, Powder Snow and Ninetales is still pretty good because you got the Powder Snows that'll deal with the flyers. You got the Dazzling Gleam that'll deal with the fighters. And outside of like a Bastion, you still do like neutral Powder Snow Weather Ball to Galarian Stunfisk. So it's a pretty well-rounded Pokemon. Weak to Fairy. I mean, it's not weak to Fairy. Weak to Poison. Not a lot of Poison anymore, but and you get walled by Bastion and stuff like that, which is where Swampert comes in. So it's two Pokemon that cover each other's weakness. I use Malamar just like as a fun, has superpower, stuff like that. You can use like a safe swap third. Always go like Sableye, a safe swap third, something like that. Just it's a balanced team. Swampert and Ninetales cover each other's weaknesses, right? Swampert's weak to grass. Powder Snow and Ninetales will take care of that. So you can run those 2 as a core and then a third safe swap if you want. I just use Malamar just to have fun early on the season, but you do not need to use Malamar. This one's from Yonkis's first like putting the teams together. Medicham, Noctowl, Lantern, super meta and super strong, right? So Noctowl, a lot of people are either using it or going against it, and it's just like, even I mentioned Galarian Stunfisk wins a matchup, like IV dependent, as Swag will say. So Noctowl is a beast. It will have a little trouble against like Ice and like Bastion and stuff like that, which is where Lantern comes into play. And the Medicham, unless you like, I used Abomasnow. So Abomasnow is a great core breaker because I saw this core, Lantern, Noctowl core was everywhere because they do cover each other's weaknesses really well, right? Lantern's weak to ground, Noctowl will deal with that to a certain extent. We'll deal with that. Galarian Stunfisk, they can kind of both manage. And then Metachamp will deal with Bastiodon, Galarian Stunfisk. Abomasnow, if you have Abomasnow Core Breaker. I've used Abomasnow as a Core Breaker for these. So basically well-rounded team. You have coverage of everything sort of thing, right? And then the fourth one that was showcased by Purple Kyogre, Galarian Stunfisk, Pelipper, Sableye. So it's kind of like the first team. So I just mentioned you can put in a Sableye on the Galarian Stunfisk team that no, that was the Ninetales team. Sorry. But Sableye is like one of the best save swaps. So this is pretty much a balanced team, right? Your Galarian Stunfisk is weak to water and fighting. Pelipper will deal with that. And Sableye is a pretty good save swap to deal just with anything else. Like I was going to say, Azumarill is a little tricky for this team. But even that, like if you land a return or beta foul play, like you can flip that Sableye Azumarill matchup pretty easily. Galarian Stunfisk, again, same thing, fighters, but you have the back two to deal with fighters. So it's pretty like well-balanced team. So that is it. Those are sort of what you're going to see. Again, there was a lot of like Noctowl and stuff like that in the first, like I said, the triangle, the flyers, the fighters, and the steals kind of all covering each other. So you do one of two things. You either pick a side or you try to go with like something that can sort of core break those. Or you try and go something that's kind of neutral to all those to a certain extent. Like, I mean, Sableye loses to Noctowl, but Sableye is generally safe against all those. Pelipper, like, is generally safe against all those because you have the Weather Balls for, like, the Bastiodon, Galarian Stunfisk, right? So there's ways to get around that. So that is it. Check out Ultra League teams this afternoon because it is Great League, Ultra League, and Master League this week. So that is it. Thanks for watching. Appreciate the thumbs up and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one.